Welcome to ChanNews, your first and best source for news from the Chans. The battle for social justice reaches new heights today as a woman found not tall enough to be a pilot awaits judgment in a gender discrimination lawsuit against Lufthansa. On Thursday, Germany's Federal Labor Court will rule on the case of a young woman who wanted to train as a pilot with Lufthansa but was rejected because she was too short. The ruling will come almost 2 years after the state labor court in Cologne rejected her lawsuit against Lufthansa based on their height restrictions for pilots. This company has a policy requiring all pilots to be at least 165 centimeters tall. Lufthansa rejected the young woman's application for their pilot training program due to the fact she was 161.5 centimeters tall. She sued the German airline on grounds of gender discrimination, demanding 135,000 euros, or about $150,000 in damages and compensation. She lost the case and later appealed the decision before the Federal Labor Court. Lufthansa claims their height requirement has nothing to do with gender, but is in fact for security. The fact is, 860 women work as commercial pilots in Germany. Lufthansa Group spokesman Helmut Togsdorf gave a statement explaining that their pilots must be able to reach all cockpit controls at all times in every plane in the airline's entire fleet, including the A380, which is the world's largest passenger plane. Some airlines, such as Air Canada and United, don't have height requirements for pilots, whereas many airlines around the globe do, because many controls are on the ceiling of the cockpit in modern planes. The Federal Labor Court has yet to announce its verdict on whether Lufthansa indirectly discriminated against the would-be pilot for rejecting her application due to the fact that women are on average shorter than men, which makes fewer women than men eligible for Lufthansa's pilot training program. According to European law, this type of discrimination takes place when an apparently neutral criterion puts someone at disadvantage. If the court comes to the conclusion that this was the case, the next step would be to evaluate if having height requirements for pilots is necessary. It is a well-known fact that in order for someone to become a pilot, they have to meet very high physical and psychological standards, because any problem that can potentially occur due to a pilot's inability to perform their duties will put passengers' lives in jeopardy and, in the worst-case scenario, lead to human casualties. Many pilots have said from their own experience that a certain height is necessary when flying commercial aircraft because many cockpit controls are positioned on the ceiling of the cockpit. Markus Wall, a pilot and a spokesman for the Association of German Airline Pilots and Flight Engineers, said that there were times he had to stretch in order to reach the cockpit in certain planes, even though he is 1.9 meters tall. Men are on average taller than women, but according to the German Federal Statistical Office's microcensus from 2013, which deals with health and measurements of the population, the average height of German females aged 18 to 40 is 1.67 meters, which is above the minimum height requirement for pilot training with Lufthansa. According to this document, the average woman is equally as eligible as the average man. Only Germans below average height are being discriminated against, and Lufthansa's argument is that the safety of their passengers is the reason for this. Considering that the requirement is for height and their reason for having it, according to them, has nothing to do with gender, it would have been difficult to prove that this woman was discriminated based on her gender. This seems to be a case of female entitlement gone wild, and an attempt to create a double standard where women don't have to be as tall as their male counterparts to fly for Lufthansa. We have yet to see if the Federal Labor Court will overrule the verdict made by the state court in Cologne and force Lufthansa to change their standards. With no explanation given as to how the women below 165 centimeters would reach those cockpit controls if they were allowed to be pilots, it's likely that many German flyers are becoming a bit nervous in anticipation of this verdict. ChanNews will keep you updated on further developments in this story, so stay tuned.